back to another episode of Sports Rants with Abby and friends. Of course, I'm Abby. We got Fly Guy in the house. Missing Sean, but he may hop on later. This is like a terrible episode for him to miss, considering his team is going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I was
it might be as
excited to
good as it
actually hear
gets.
it. Right. Before we get into it, Guy, I know we were talking about the weather there. You staying as warm as possible? I mean, look at your jacket. You look like you were in like a foot of snow right now.
That's exactly what it is. And it's all turned to ice too. So I had to work in the bad weather. I had to do a double in the snow. So yeah, it was real. But we had like single digits the last week or so with bad wind. So we haven't had a bad winter in a long time. So we've been spoiled, and we're getting a reminder of how cold it can be up here.
Are you guys supposed to get hit again this weekend too?
We were, but they changed it, thank God. So
I know.
please.
I can't believe I ever used to live in Virginia, and I remember it used to snow there. And I remember it got so bad with the wind, I got windburn all over my cheeks right here, and that was like super painful. Took forever to go away. On top of that.
100%. That's why you need to moisturize before you leave in the winter, because you dehydrate, I think, more in the cold weather like that.
Yeah. Well, safe to say I'm enjoying the 72-degree weather here in Phoenix. It is of joy. So wishing you all the warm. It's funny. I still have the heater on here. Like the heater's at 73.
Is that cold for you?
I don't know why the house like this morning was like 66. I'm like, there's no business being this cold. I was like, you know what? Even the dog is cold. When he jumps on my bed, that means he's cold. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just crank it up. I could care less. I try not to turn it on just to make sure it's like, because in the summertime, the AC is, I mean, you should see the bill. It's through the roof, of course. So I try not to turn it on at all during the winter, but I'm sorry, I couldn't deal with it. That 40 degrees, I'm over here walking the dog all like it's snowing and I'm walking through a blizzard. Before we get into some football, I know, Guy, I didn't talk about this with you beginning prior to the show, but I know you'll probably co-sign. There is a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world right now. It's very chaotic and whatnot. So I just want to send out kind of all our love and prayers to everyone around the world. Very scary times in this country, and I just want to make sure that we acknowledge it. Again, Guy, I know you're probably on the same boat with me when it comes there. So just want to acknowledge that. Guy, I don't know if you had anything additional to say. I don't want to put you on the spot.
No, 100%. And these times that we need to come together. A lot of times we thinking about the differences, but we need to think about the things that actually unite us. And you got to love your neighbor, man. That's what it is.
Exactly. Well, we're here. We're glad that you are all here. We already see Brandon in the comments. Appreciate you being here. Please like and subscribe to the channel. We're happy that we get to talk about something positive, which is sports. If you're a Jets fan, it's not so positive, but we'll get into that here later. But let's go ahead and talk about the AFC and NFC championship games. We now have the two teams that will be in the Super Bowl this year in Santa Clara. And we got unfortunately, the New England Patriots facing the Seattle Seahawks. So let's go ahead and start with the first game, the AFC championship game. So, Guy, overall thoughts of the game? I mean, it's kind of boring compared to the NFC game.
Yeah, it sucked. Let's call it what it is. The game was terrible. I think if Bo Nix was there, it might have been a little more exciting. But, Denver's playing with their backup quarterback. He can only do so much, They left some points on the board, which was frustrating. Going for it early in the game when they could have just took the points, knowing that you have a backup quarterback, like points are a premium. But they only gave up 10 points. It's not like the defense had any problem. Like if they had Bo Nix, they win this game easy. And it just sucks because I don't think the Patriots are the best team in the AFC, and they got an easy ride to the Super Bowl, and all season long, their stats look inflated, wins and losses, I mean. But Drake May hasn't really impressed me in the playoffs. I don't know if if you saw anything that gives you hope that they could do anything against Seattle, I think it's a big mismatch here.
No, I'm right there with you. I'm glad you said. I got killed on Instagram for posting that video that they had a cakewalk to the Super Bowl because they did.
They did.
You're playing. Yeah, we wanted to see Bo Nix. You know what I mean? That's who we wanted there. You had a backup QB, and you're right. I'm not impressed with the Patriots and what they're doing. To be really honest, I don't want to sit here and not give them credit at all, but I'm not just blown away by Drake May whatsoever. But it is what it is. You beat the team that's put in front of you, but again, just a very boring game. You pointed out Denver. You had opportunities to go for the points and you didn't, and those 2 missed field goals were. I couldn't believe it. Of course, my stepdad is a huge Denver Broncos fan, and he was just stunned, absolutely stunned, because Lutz has been pretty consistent for most of the season, if I believe. I don't have like any stats pulled up right at the moment, but
yeah, and usually I know like weather could have played a factor later in the game because like it was clear and then all of a sudden it started snowing towards the end of the game, and I knew once that happened, like that, and that's why you take the points early. You take the points early before weather becomes a factor for your kicker. You could always run the ball. You could always get lucky with a deep ball, but like I hate to say it, but like sometimes you're too aggressive for your own good. And I think if Denver played within their strengths, time of possession, you let that defense cook, like they could have stole this game. But either way, like none of these teams I think were going to factor into the Super Bowl like that. And that's what sucks. Like the product itself might hurt, in 2 weeks.
right. And I forgot, who was your prediction for the Super Bowl?
I had Houston and the Rams.
Okay, and I had Rams and Denver. So I was almost close at least.
Yeah.
But it just pains me, and you can call me a hater. I don't care. I've already addressed this, but it just pains me to absolutely see the Patriots be back to where they are. The Patriots fans are. It's funny for a team that has won so much. They are the most sensitive fans ever, and they come to me like I ain't heard all the stuff about the Jets before. Quite frankly, I don't care. They're acting like they had such a difficult time since 2019. Oh my, bro, you don't know anything about difficult. And, the Jets haven't made the playoffs in 15 years. Stop acting like you know anything about struggling as a franchise.
Yeah, I mean, for a long time in their history, they've been doormats in the AFC East. Like before, like the turn of the century, like before the year 2000, they made 2 Super Bowls. Don't get me wrong, but other than that, they were consistently terrible. Like they were easy wins back in the day. So like unless like you come from those days, Patriots fans, like you're the new age Patriot fans that never struggled, you can't talk to us about struggle.
Exactly. Now, on the same kind of topic of the Patriots a little bit, I want to shift it just ever so slightly, and I want to shift to Bill Belichick. And everyone heard the news. He's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, and I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Good. He's a cheater. He shouldn't be a first ballot Hall of Famer. You did it to other guys, like in other sports, they had to hold off a year or two. Like Carlos Beltran took the brunt of like whatever the Astros did, and he went on his 4th year. And he's a first ballot Hall of Famer to me. So yeah, like he's not above that. That, and let's be real, outside of anything Patriots related, his record isn't that great. He was with the Browns, didn't do that great. And until like Tom Brady goes on this miracle run where he gets all these advantages, yeah. I'm glad that he doesn't have the all-time wins record either. So stay your ass in college, and you're not going to be the wins record holder.
He'll get in there eventually. This is
Yeah.
not that big of a deal. Obviously, he's won the Super Bowl 6 times, but I just have to wonder if his personal life, I will say, has maybe clouded some judgment of people. And I remember someone, I can't remember his name, who voted, and he was like, I don't even remember if I voted for him or not. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, a lot of people attribute Belichick's success to Tom Brady. You know what I mean? And look what happened once Tom Brady left. So yeah, I do think his personal life has kind of hindered him a little bit, whether he likes it or not. And that's always what you're gonna get, especially when you're in such a big gap of a relationship, for starters, unfortunately. And then at the same time, too, you have your significant other who is very involved in, we've seen some of those stories being around of her being pushy in interviews and whatnot. And it's at the end of the day, it's just not a good look.
It's not a good look. And I think, to your point, a lot of Hall of Fame voters, and I know they do this in baseball too, like they take into account your off the field stuff. Like that'll be the difference between being a first ballot and waiting a few years. Like if your character was questionable, they let you wait and sweat it out a little bit. And I don't know if it's like a form of punishment or whatever. Or that's just how they've done things over the years, the sports writers. Because not only that, he comes off as an asshole to a lot of people, right? So throughout that, and kind of like condescending a little bit. So like already the writers have this kind of view of him. Now you add all the recent stuff. Yeah. And they can only think about the recent stuff more than back then, right? Like, yeah, you could have been a prick, but they let you slide because you were winning. But now that you're not winning, you don't have that leash that you used to have. So now all this other stuff is magnified.
Right. And you can talk the talk if like you're walking the walk, and at this point in his career, it hasn't been that good since he moved to NCAA, to be honest. So obviously, like I said, he deserves a lot of credit. He's obviously 6 Super Bowl wins. His accolades speak for himself. It's just not going to happen this year. I'm not overly upset about it, though.
No,
like I said, so all those
he'll
other
get
factors,
in.
right? That's what I'm saying. So we know it's coming, and he'll be excited when it happens. He can wait another year, honestly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm so sad that Sean's not here because I know he is so enthusiastic to talk about the Seattle Seahawks, and what a hell of a game. I mean, that was an absolute treat. And I think I even shared a meme that was like, can this game just be our Super Bowl at this point? But overall thoughts on the game, the Seahawks and Rams game?
Yeah, I think for all intents and purposes, it was the Super Bowl. It was the two best teams going at it. I think all year they kind of showed that these two teams were a little bit better than everybody else for different reasons. And, it came down to the end. The Rams still had a chance, even, with their kind of like uphill battle that they had throughout the game. But kudos to Seattle for, winning again and using that home field advantage. That's why that was so big at the end of the year, obtaining that, especially for them. And I got to give Sam Darnold a lot of credit. This was a big game, and he showed out. He didn't make a lot of mistakes, if any. Like he was locked in, and man, was he finding JSN a lot, and that connection was kind of special. And honestly, like, to me, they're head and shoulders the favorite. Like, I know the line's like 4.5 right now, but how they did that to the Rams, like I don't see how the Patriots get the ball moving against them, because the Patriots had a hard time with, teams that weren't at full strength. This team is clicking on on all cylinders, and as long as Sam Darnold doesn't revert to seeing ghosts and all his Patriots history. Like you have a different uniform on, bro.
Mhm.
Get the job done and do it and prove the haters wrong. I love that he has turned his career around, and that's something that really needs to be discussed more because he was in the lowest of the low years ago, and even when he was with the Minnesota Vikings, they still chose JJ McCarthy over him. So, I'm glad that he had the opportunity to flourish with a good team, and now he has a chance to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah. So, I mean, my overall thoughts on the game was, I mean, JSN was snagging balls. That one-handed catch was absolutely incredible. I do also want to point out Puka's touchdown. What a hell of a throw, too. And I actually won. I posted it, but I want to parlay that game. I would have won another one had Kyron Williams had one more yard that they actually, I think they marked it like he lost a yard.
Yes.
And it screwed my 8-leg parlay. I would have been so up, but I will take the TD parlay that I had. But to go back to your point about obviously Sam Darnold, obviously the going from being drafted with the Jets, I don't think he was the problem with the Jets. I think he had no weapons when he was here, or when he was with New York, I should say. And the thing with him is he had no weapons. We didn't give him an O line. And I understand why the Jets moved on from him. I didn't, again, I didn't think he was a problem, but I understand why they made the move because at that point in time, just you need a fresh start. Both parties need a fresh start at that point. Then bouncing around to like Carolina, and I think he's with San Francisco. And then I want to ask you a question because you mentioned obviously the Vikings and JJ McCarthy. And this is a question that was posed on like Twitter, I want to say. So Sam Darnold's success. Do you think it's harder? Like, I forgot how the question was posed, but like, should the Vikings be more embarrassed for letting him go, or should the Jets be more embarrassed for letting him go?
I think the Vikings should be more embarrassed.
I'm right there with you.
Because he was more of a finished product in Minnesota. Like on the Jets, like the coaching changes that they had, like he had Adam Gase for a year. Like, come on, man. I know how that guy can coach. And and he just got weird when he got to New York. So like imagine that. And I always say the quarterback and the coach have to have a good relationship with each other. And that just didn't look like it was going to work. And I know that Peyton Manning endorsed Adam Gase back in the day, but you have to adjust your coaching to the talent that you have. And you know what? He was still raw coming out of USC, like he had tools that under the right circumstances, like he could grow into a good starting quarterback, but like not in New York. That's why I don't think that the Jets really fumbled as much as the Vikings did. Like he showed you that he was good. Like he had weapons. You guys were like 14-3, and you still said, no thanks. We'll take this guy. And not for nothing, JJ McCarthy was carried by a great defense in Michigan, and he never showed me that he could just sling the ball all over the field, or even be a game manager. And he has an injury history. Like all those things take into account, you should have re-signed Sam Darnold and try to trade McCarthy to somebody else.
Right. And I remember at that point in time, too, there was even rumors that the Jets might try and get McCarthy, you know what I mean? Because they needed somebody in there. And it's funny because I believe the Vikings made that trade with the Jets and they traded, again, only one spot, but they traded up for the person who they thought was their guy. And he's been absolutely terrible. I mean, now he's not only been injured, but then when he came back, again, in some more injuries that, again, he was injured some games, but I don't really think he was injured, by the way, but that's neither here or there.
Bruised ego.
Yes, but even then, from what I've seen, I mean, you have an elite wide receiver in Justin Jefferson. You're making nothing work. You've seen quarterbacks make it work with less, and yeah, I'm right there with you. I think the Vikings should be a lot more embarrassed, and I think it's safe to say, both me and you, are we wanting the Seahawks to win the Super Bowl?
Oh, 100%. I'm not even hiding that one. I hope it's a blowout and they get embarrassed because.
And Go ahead. I think at the end of the day, I had the NFC winning
Oh
flat out.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, they were the better conference. Like the AFC was in a down year, I thought. Anyway, because like even like the number one seed Broncos, they were kind of winning close games, and they didn't really stand out like that. But they were good. Like any of those teams in the AFC could have made it to the Super Bowl, right? But realistically, in the NFC, it was either Seattle or the Rams because they were just in a different class. But yeah, like, and I was going to say this earlier. So this is the stats that Drake May had in these playoff games, right? So he went 10 for 21 with 86 yards, no TDs, one fumble, right? First game. Second game, 16 for 27 for 179 passing yards, three TDs, one interception, and four fumbles. And then last game, 7 for 29 for 268, one touchdown, one interception, and two fumbles. So, any other quarterback that has those stat lines probably loses that game. So he's been carried by a pretty good defense out there in New England. That's probably their best thing is that they have a good defense, and if they play smart, they could try to keep that Seattle offense off the field and make it an ugly defensive game, which for the viewer wouldn't be that pleasing. Like if it's like 6-6 or 9-6 at halftime and it's a field goal battle, like we're gonna be frustrated and be like, man, this sucks. Like at least with other teams, it would have been entertaining, but this is what we got.
That's what I'm saying. He just hasn't been impressive at all. And I placed a parlay, I think, including him. And I think I put like 150 passing yards. And I saw, I think at the half, it was like, again, 50 something. And I checked again. I'm like, 80 something yards. You got to be kidding me. And at that point in time, I knew it wasn't going to hit because then the weather shifted
Yep.
On top of that. So that's what I'm saying. He just hasn't been that impressive. Their defense, again, I do want to give them credit. Their O-line hasn't even really been that good. I saw Will Campbell miss several defenders ran straight by him during that game as well. So yeah, I hope this is an absolute slaughter fest. And I just want to say I am so happy for Sam Darnold that he has found his success. It has been a long time coming, a long journey coming. And I love that video because you mentioned the seeing ghosts. That video of him being like a ghostbuster, and it's like ghost no more. But I hope he can definitely get his revenge. Again, this is just a stacked Seattle team on both sides of the ball, and you already knew I think it was from like the first or second play of the first drive of the game for Seattle. I think it was that pass to Shaheed, and I was like, oh, I already know where this game is going. And that's what you talk about, that home field advantage. Lumen Field is like one of the hardest places to play at. That crowd was just absolutely ecstatic. So more to come on that. Let's see. We got some head coaching updates. I want to get into NFL honors eventually.
Okay.
But let's talk about some head coaching updates. I think let's see. So Browns, we'll start with the Browns. Todd Monken hired as their head coach. Interested to hear your thoughts.
It's a move. Like I think they took the best guy that they had because everybody was canceling and withdrawing their name from the consideration. So like they're like, well, you're the last one left, so I guess we're gonna give you the job if you still want it. Like they know that wasn't their first choice, and he knows that he wasn't their first choice. So they kind of fell into it together. I don't really have any high expectations with that. Like, it's a mess in Cleveland. Their quarterback situation needs to be cleared up. But more of the same for the Browns. This is on brand. Stefanski, to me, was a good coach. And I think just from a culture standpoint, they took a step back. And that's nothing against Monacan. Like, he could be a good coach, but I don't see it happening, at least not yet.
And obviously, he's attributed a lot to developing or I should say, working with Lamar Jackson. Obviously, he was there when he won his MVP. It's interesting that he's also going to a division opponent on top of that. I've seen mixed reviews from like Browns fans because some are excited to maybe see how he'll develop Shador. But obviously, what does this mean for Jim Schwartz, obviously being their defensive coordinator? A lot of people are thinking are concerned about that simply because obviously that's not his guy whatsoever. And the best part about Cleveland, I think we can all say, is their defense. That's been one of the highlights there. So yeah, I think it's an interesting hire, but Cleveland is just an absolute mess. It's not going to be a year turnaround thing. I also want to talk to you while we're on the topic of Cleveland Browns. Shador Sanders going to the Pro Bowl is what a joke. I watched the path. It looked like several quarterbacks were injured and several declined. So I get how they got to this point in time. But you got to be kidding me.
It's a joke.
Right. And that's why no one, honestly, I want to curse because I want to say no one gives a shit about the Pro Bowl anymore because of shit like this.
Yeah. But even so, like the game means nothing. Like if you want to just say like, yeah, you guys are like Pro Bowlers or all-stars like for that year, then you give him the honor. But what the hell has he done to earn that? Like that now you just devalued. This is the last nail in the hammer. Like good luck having stars actually give a damn about this because the viewers don't, the fans don't. Like nobody's really interested in going to Honolulu. Like it's a great vacation or going to Orlando. Like it's cool. Just have a skills competition that make something fun out of it. But an actual game where saying that these are the best guys in this game that we had here, no, it's not. Don't lie to us and don't insult our intelligence. And I think that's what happened here.
And it's already been different since it's now flag football. It no longer has the same meaning. And honestly, the quality has just gone down. The NFL is going to need to figure out a whole revamp with the Pro Bowl, honestly, because I'm very interested to see how many people even bother to watch it, quite frankly. I probably won't. I don't care that much.
No, and we know that it's a trash product, so why are we even going to waste our time, right? Like if you don't care, why the hell are we going to care?
Exactly. Another coaching update. Bills hired Joe Brady as their head coach. And obviously the Bills being a division rival. I'll go first. It's not overly exciting. It doesn't change anything really. And I'm like, who are you going to find to be your offensive coordinator? McDermott, I kind of understand why he was fired, but I also don't. I think he was just a scapegoat at this point. The Bills, unfortunately, they were just like injured all year, but like this was their time to get back to the Super Bowl. And they still couldn't do it. And, Josh Allen is one person. He's been carrying that team pretty much the whole entire season for the most part. And I don't know, again, this doesn't scare me. Being a Jets fan, and I'm sure it doesn't scare you being a Miami fan. We're now seeing the Bills, I feel like, take a little bit of a step back. So I actually kind of like that a little bit because it means more hope for us. Yeah, they're reeling it back. I mean, my team the Jets already reeled it back way too far, so they're just inching a little closer. But I mean, your thoughts on Joe Brady?
Yeah, I mean, it does not move the needle one bit. They did that because I guess he has some continuity with Josh Allen already, so they didn't want to make drastic changes. But look, you still have the same roster pretty much. The same mentality is going to be there. McDermott was the scapegoat, like you said, and I think they've coddled Josh Allen for a long time. When is he going to take the accountability? And he has in the press conference, but I really mean like the media and everybody else, like really say, all right, man, it's your time to show and prove, bro. Like you haven't even made a Super Bowl yet. And this was supposed to be your easiest year to get there. Now, he had a lot of things going for him. Like they did have the best pass defense. They had the best running game yards wise, right? Like Cook was cooking this year. Let's not pretend that, he had nothing. Like John Elway in the 80s brought Broncos teams that had no business being in the Super Bowl, and he found a way. He needs to dig deep and find a way. He's relying too much on his raw talent, and he's not really evolving as a quarterback to make the necessary tweaks that make you into a winner. He still turns the ball over way too much and at the wrong times. You got to clean your game up a little bit. And once he does that, he will go to a Super Bowl. But right now, I don't think Joe Brady's that guy that's going to unlock this new level of Josh Allen. It's going to be more of the same, and they're going to choke when the game matters the most, because that's who the Bills are. That's in their DNA.
I'm glad you pointed out like they're building it around Josh Allen without that accountability from him. You know what I mean? And you're right. I mean, we all saw the Denver game. I know a lot of people think it came down to that one interception. No, there was all these turnovers in the game. And when you're just that, if you're that high of a caliber quarterback, you don't do stuff like that. You don't see someone like Pat Mahomes doing that. You expect quarterbacks like that maybe to have more interceptions sometimes because you're taking a shot, you're airing it out, probably throwing a lot of like 50-50 balls type of stuff. But that's not the case with Josh Allen. So again, you're right. You said it perfectly. It really doesn't move the needle much. So good for us as their AFC East division rivals. We got one more. Ravens hired Jesse Minter as their head coach. I mean, this is obviously a good situation to come into with the Ravens. I mean, you have Lamar, you have a great offense, you have a great defense as well. I don't really have any additional thoughts. Do you?
Not really. I know he was one of like the hot coordinators that a lot of people were interviewing, and he's going into a really good situation. Unlike the Bills, I think the Ravens have like a structure and like an actual identity. Like of toughness. It's like the Bills almost want to be like what the Ravens have culturally, right? But that to me, Minter fits, I guess, what they already have, and he's just a new voice. That team just needed a new perspective, maybe a little modernization with the way the game is played right now. And if he could help, Lamar, they could get somebody in the room there that could really help him get to that next level. As your athleticism declines, now your IQ and your passing needs to be refined. So maybe that helps.
Oh, yay. We have Sean in the building.
Hey, what's good, bro?
Sorry I'm late. I got stuck doing my taxes.
No, you're good. Get that money back from the government.
I got that money back. I ain't gonna.
Well, we're going to go back to the Seahawks here in a second.
Yeah,
we're
let's
just wrapping
do
up
it.
some head coaching stuff. Obviously, Cardinals and Raiders out there still looking for their head coach and whatnot. So before we get into like some Jets, did Miami make any moves, Guy, recently? Did they hire anybody? I thought I saw they hired somebody.
Yeah, they've been hiring like coaches and coordinators,
Yeah.
Pretty good moves, I would say. But I like what they're doing down there.
Well, let me just get into the Jets so we can go ahead and get this over with. Because obviously, the New York Jets hired today Brian Duker, or Dookie, as people have been saying.
Who's that?
Exactly.
Exactly. From the Miami Dolphins, obviously. So, I mean, Guy, do you have any? Is this? I love when people write like in Reddit. Is this good?
Not really. I mean, like, you could be hopeful, and who knows? Like, maybe he could grow into something there. But if I'm a Jet fan, I'm not really excited about this move, right?
Right. And no Jets fans are. I can tell you this much right now. Like, everyone is initially who the hell is that? That is not who we wanted. You brought in Wink Martindale for a second interview in person over the weekend. You interview Brian Duker on Zoom, and then he all of a sudden has the job. But this is very tricky now simply because Aaron Glenn is now having his hand in calling the defense. So I wonder if that became an issue when it came to Wink Martindale, and he was probably like, hell no, dude, I've coached, here, there, college, NFL, and I have all this experience. Why would I want your hands in kind of my bucket? But at the same time, I understand Aaron Glenn, he knows he needs to win football games next year. His ass is on the line. But we still are looking for an offensive coordinator. But yeah, I'm not enthusiastic about this pickup whatsoever. I don't think this moves the needle at all. And I'm already fast forwarding to almost 2027 at this point because it's already not looking very bright over in Florham Park.
No.
Yeah. So, and Aaron Glenn cleaned house this weekend as well. You're looking for an offensive coordinator. You need several positional coaches in there as well. So, kind of more to come on that, but a lot of angry Jets fans right now after the news. I do want to, I guess we need to go back in time because I mentioned we no longer have an offensive coordinator. That whole, with Tanner Engstrand, that whole situation was a mess too, because it initially came out that like his role was going to be changed and he wasn't going to be calling plays and was being redefined, all just to come out a week later and he's out as the offensive coordinator. And I think it's quite unfair considering he had no quarterback. Obviously it was his first time too. I think they both kind of are in the same boat. They both had no idea what you're doing, but he also had nothing to work with. You had Garrett Wilson hurt pretty much the whole year. Breece Hall was beat up. Mason Taylor was out too. And you had, guys off the practice squad run on your offense. So it really wasn't much work in there. So, again, very scary times out in Florham Park. I'm not going to get more into it before my blood pressure rises. All right. We'll move back to Seattle. Sean, you have to be feeling good about the Seahawks being back in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I am.
Did you watch
good?
Were you jumping after the game?
So yeah, I got really excited. I got nervous after the Woolen.
Did we lose him?
Yeah, he froze.
Damn. I thought it was me for a second. I know he's talking about that Woolen play because basically he gave the Rams a first down off of the penalty, and then you got scored on the next play, which made that. And that's when I texted the group chat, and I was like, this game just got a lot more interesting. You never know what's going to happen with Matt Stafford, too. The Rams are, again, just a well-coached team, and I was like, they're going to make a little bit of a comeback here.
Yeah, and they were pushing.
Right, exactly. They had still their foot on the gas all the way to the very end. It ain't over till it's over.
No, they just ran out of time. If that game maybe had another minute or so, they probably would have scored that touchdown.
Oh, I think so too. Well, we'll hopefully have Sean back on here in a second. But I told you guys I wanted to go over some NFL honors, like basically finalists, and who you guys wanted to pick. So let's go ahead. We'll save MVP and Coach of the Year for last. So let's start with offensive. I'll start with offensive Rookie of the Year. So we got Jackson Dart, Egbuka, Travion Henderson, Tetaroa McMillan, and Tyler Shuck. I never know how to say his name.
Yeah, me too.
People say it two different ways all the time, and I don't care enough to sit there and Google the pronunciation of his name because I the Saints. They're not irrelevant. I'm not saying they're irrelevant, but they're irrelevant to us, especially because they're a team that we don't ever hardly say.
Right.
Sean, are you back with us? Oh, now I can't hear. Now we can't hear you. Oh
no. This is why I usually like to get everything set up. I literally came home, turned my computer on, and stopped it. So and then
I know it's like you're on, but it's going out at the same time.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
now
your audio's
fine.
cutting out. No, now you're good.
Oh, now I'm fine?
Now
Is my camera fine or no?
Yeah, your camera's good.
Okay. I don't know what's going on. I just turned my computer on. I'm sorry. I apologize for coming in and causing chaos to the pod.
No, you actually come in at the right time. So I know you left off with the woolen.
Yeah,
penalty.
yeah. So here's stop, 4th and 12, and I'm like, oh, this is great. And then I see a flag on the field, and all I saw was Woolen on the other side, and I said, there's no fucking way that he just got a taunting penalty. I said that out loud. Sure as shit, taunting. And I'm like, okay, that's awesome. And then, next play, they go right at him. They attack Woolen, and Puka makes a crazy catch. And I'm like, oh, okay. Fuck. I'm like, yeah, we're going to lose now. Like, I just knew it. I felt it in my soul. And then, thankfully, we get a stop on them. And, we obviously run the clock down to like 20 seconds. They have like 2 bombs. And I'm going to be honest, if Nakua has stayed in bounds, I might have been or got out of bounds, I might have been a little worried. But I mean, a hell of a game, honestly. And, Darnold went band for band with Stafford, and that was great to see. And Kenneth Walker looked great. And then, JSN looks like JSN. So that's the biggest thing for us is we look good all around. And everyone's like, oh, well, you're one of the best defenses, and you gave up 27. It's the Rams. It doesn't matter. We're playing the Rams. And I'm going to tell you one thing for damn sure is the Patriots sure as shit are not the Rams. I don't give a flying fuck what anybody says. Everyone's saying, oh, it's going to be a close game. Listen, Drake May has put up similar stats to Stroud and Stidham this playoffs. He has not looked good at all. I don't care what they can blame the weather. He looked dog shit in the Denver game in the first half when it was sunny out. I don't care. So I'm happy we're playing the Patriots, and this is vengeance. I've been waiting 11 years for this vengeance. And
Me too.
You couldn't put it in any more of a poetic way for us to play them. And I think we're going to beat the break. This is going to be looking like the 49ers game. I'm serious. And I'm that's not overconfidence. I just really think the Patriots are that bad. And it's like no disrespect to Patriots fans, to that organization, what they've done this year. But you can't tell me that team looks good and has looked good in any game in their playoff run. Their defense is good, but our offense is not any of the offenses that they played. And everyone's like, oh, well, Darnold, he's had bad games. We're just waiting for it. We've been waiting for it for 2 games now, and he's looked great in both of them. Mm-hmm. So when are we just going to accept that maybe Darnold has turned a corner and he looks good and he's been making great reads? I don't think he had a single bad pass in the Rams game, quite frankly. I don't think he had any pass where I'm like, yo, what are you doing? Slow it down a little bit. And we thought the Charbonnet injury was going to hurt us. And, it did, obviously, but Kenneth Walker looks great. And he's healthy because we split carries all year. And that's the advantage of having 2 good running backs is that you can split carries. And now guess what? An RB1 on 80% of the other teams, he's a fully healthy RB1. So yeah, I was really happy with that win. I mean, great win. It's super, super cool to see Darnold make it to the Super Bowl. First quarterback in the 2018 class to make it to the Super Bowl. And on the flip side, I'm happy the Patriots made it. But again, they haven't, I don't know how you guys feel about them, but they really haven't done anything in the last 2 weeks that have maybe be like, or 3 weeks rather, that have made me think like, wow, they look like a Super Bowl ready team.
No, we're right there with you. We had chatted about this before. One, it hurts us as obviously fans of other AFC East teams to see the Patriots back here acting like they struggled to get back here. I mentioned I posted that video, and I will stand 10 toes down on that. They had a cakewalk path to the Super Bowl. A bunch of people agree with me that aren't even Patriots fans, and Patriots fans are just so sensitive.
And let me tell you the other thing about Patriots fans. They're sitting here, oh, we played 3 top 5 defenses in the playoffs.
Thank you.
And you played three bottom 25 offenses. Yeah. So what's the difference? You guys didn't put up any fucking points. You put up 17. You put up, 24 or whatever it was against the Texans, but that's with a fucking airmail pick 6 and 14 turnovers. and you put up 10 on Denver. And you should have lost that game if they just kicked the ball. I don't understand what they're thinking. Yes, your defense has looked great. Your offense has looked horrible against 3 top 5 defenses. And now you're playing a 4th, who is Seattle, or top 6. Technically, Seattle's ranked 6th in adjusted ratings, with a significantly better offense, with the best wide receiver in the game, a top 15 running back, in my opinion, in Walker. We could go higher or lower, however you want to do it. I'm not going to be too bold with my statement. And a passing attack that's looked great all around. So I don't understand in what world any Patriots fans are getting off thinking that they've had a hard schedule and, oh, yeah, we've had to play top defense. You've played ravaged teams all playoffs. It's been pathetic.
That's the only argument that they have is the 3 top 10 defenses. And then it's funny, I saw a whole thing that went through their whole entire schedule just from the regular season. And it was like fired head coach, 2-14, 3-14, fired head coach, head coach, fired OC. And I stand 10 toes down on that. We also talked about Darnold and how we're both very, very happy for him. It's been a long time coming. He looks great. And we're right there with you. We want Seattle to win. We don't think this is going to be close whatsoever. What did you say, Guy? The spread was 4.5?
Yeah, it started off as 4.5. I don't know if it's changed.
Well, start off at 5.5, actually. I think it went down to 4.5 now.
Which is crazy, but
I'm taking anything over 10, honestly. I really do think this is going to be a beatdown. I think anybody that doesn't, and it's in Santa Clara. We're undefeated in Santa Clara under Mike. So, granted, I know it's a Super Bowl, so it's a little different. It's not playing the Niners, but
familiar grounds, man, you know, like it's kind of like a home game.
Yeah, I don't see any world where, quite frankly, I don't see any world where the Patriots are competitive, because their passing attack is. I'm going to tell you what, it's similar to the Niners passing attack, and they have 2 good running backs, but what are you don't have a Puka Nacua and you don't have a Devontae Adams. So what are you doing? You have Stephon Diggs and, friends at that point. Matt Collins has looked okay, I guess.
Hunter Henry,
and then Booty. But Booty's great for a spectacular catch. I mean, he's not. I don't know. I know I'm very, very biased, but even objectively speaking, this has got to be one of the most lopsided Super Bowls in NFL history. I'm not going to lie to you. It really feels that way.
No, we're right there with you, and I don't feel the Patriots have done anything impressive.
I'm pumped. I mean, I'm sure you I am pumped. Like, this is going to be awesome. And if we lose, I'll eat shit. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. But I have never. I mean, I've been around, in the Legion of Boom era and stuff. So like there's been seasons where you get really excited, but this is the most excited I've been in a long time to not only watch the Super Bowl, obviously because my team's in it, but to actually watch my team because they look cohesively like an unstoppable force. It's not like we're hitting an unmovable object. Like the Rams were an unstoppable force and we were an immovable object, right? And when we collided, we came out on top. Again, our special teams has been great. Muffs should have had 2 muff punts. The first one, he got lucky with the bounce. The second one, I mean, I don't know what the fuck he was thinking. That was a crazy muff punt. I'm not going to lie to you. But then everyone's arguing is, oh, well, if we didn't have the muff punt, then the Rams would have won. Okay, if we didn't have this dumbass, bogus-ass penalty on our corner, we would have possibly went up 17 coming out of half. It's a whole different game. But yeah, let me not rant because I'll just sit here and yap about it. Oh man.
No, it's okay. Hopefully you took off the next day.
Well, the Super Bowl is what on Sunday, right?
Yeah,
it's on
February
the
8th.
Yeah, I mean, I work Mondays, but I'm a sales rep, so I don't have to be in early. But yeah, you can bet your ass I'm going to get a 24-pack of Yingling and I'm crushing that whole thing.
Oh my God, I haven't heard Yingling in so long because it's only on the East Coast.
Yeah, it's like our go-to, my go-to. I mean, I've like branched out like into you guys have Mango Cart over there?
No.
Oh,
what is that?
So it's like it's literally a mango drink. It's so good.
How much alcohol is in there?
Let me look it up. I get toasty off 3. So
He's like 12%. It's like a buzz ball.
I think it's only 4%.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not that bad. Yeah, I take I get like 3 big ones from the bar. They're like that big. I'll crush 3 of those and I'm like, all right, I'm good to go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I missed
4%.
the one because I'm not a beer drinker. I drink more like liquor or the seltzers, but I missed the one like cider I missed from over there is like Bold Rock. It was like it's made in Virginia. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. Made
I've
with
never
like
heard of it.
Virginia apples and stuff like that. Yeah, that's the one thing. And I remember Yingling. I brought back a case one time because my friends were
I've
all
seen
like,
it.
we
I know
need
what you're
it, we
talking
need
about.
it. Yeah.
Yingling's good.
So,
Yingling's really good. Guy, what do you
does
do?
it?
Well, when it comes to like beers,
Yeah,
He's like, I don't.
let's just go down this rabbit hole.
no, I mean like I'm pretty basic. Like I have a Corona, you know.
Oh.
I
Yeah, you
like
can't go
A
wrong with Corona.
Modelo.
yeah, Modelo too. Like
with a
Yeah.
lime, with a lime,
Land
with the
Shark.
lime. Yes.
Land Shark. Holy shit! They run BOGOs on Land Shark down here at Publix. That shit sells like crazy.
Yeah, my family's a Michelob Ultra family.
My best friend drinks Michelob, so he got me into it. The one that I went to the college football finals with. So like that's all we drink when we're out is Michelobs.
See, and I'm like a seltzer person, so I had like 2 high noons this weekend. It was great. They're expensive, but and then I moved to Truly. So anyways, all right. Well, moving on. I wanted to talk. I know I mentioned I wanted to talk about NFL honors and some of the finalists and who we think it's going to go to and whatnot. So I want to go ahead and start with Offensive Rookie of the Year. Sean, this is exactly where we left off right before you came back on.
Cool.
So offensive Rookie of the Year finalists. You got Dart, Egbuka, Henderson, McMillan, and I hate saying his name, Tyler Shuck or Shah, whatever.
Yeah.
Sean, I'll start with you.
Do you want to know who I think is going to win it or who's actually going to win it?
Both. Perfect.
So who do I think is going to win it is probably it's either going to be Tet or Shuck. I think Dart should win it personally. Just because of what he did even without, with the decimated receiving core. I don't know. I just think it should go to Tet. Personally, or Dart, because Tet, first rookie receiver to have 1,000 yards, in that offense. And let's not get it twisted. Bryce Young is not some amazing quarterback, right? So he's making incredible. His highlight reel this year. I watched a video of his a catch that he made that wasn't a catch on the sideline, and I was
against
like,
the Cardinals.
I was like, this guy's a monster.
There.
Like his range is insane. I don't remember. I don't. Like Jamar Chase and, JSN and receivers, they have crazy range, right? Like Nakua, their range of Mike Evans, right? He reminds me a lot of Mike Evans, just not as big. But you can throw a ball to him and you just know he's going to catch it, right? And if he doesn't, it's almost like a disappointment. And it almost feels like Amon Ra-esque, where like you throw a ball within a radius of him, he's certainly going to catch it. And yeah, he had games where he disappeared. So that's why it's kind of hard because he had like multiple games, like 40 receptions or 40 receiving yards, 30 receiving yards. But I wouldn't be mad if like Dart or Shuck won it either. Because look what Shuck did when he came in. But yeah, it's really a toss up to me. I know it's not, like I keep going back and forth now that I think about it, but I think Shuck or McMillan's going to win it, but I think it should go to Jackson Dart in my heart.
Guy.
Yeah, I kind of agree. It's definitely between McMillan and Dart. For the reasons stated, like knowing what Dart had to work with, and he showed, his potential, which is why they were able to reel in a coach like Harbaugh because of what he was able to show even without those weapons. So now a healthy Giants team next year, definitely expecting them to take a step forward, right? Or a few steps forward. But I think if we're just looking at like hard stats, like I think it's McMillan. He, like Sean said, Bryce Young isn't a world beater when it comes to throwing the football, but he is a clear number one. And an okay offense, right? Like he wasn't. I don't know if they thought that he was going to be this good this soon because of the quarterback, and despite having Bryce Young, he was able to have 1,000 yards. So like, I think it's going to be him, but I think Jackson Dart, him being injured, kind of hurts his case this year.
And that's what I was gonna say. I think that's the biggest thing, the injury there and missing a little bit of time there. Tyler Shuck balled out.
The argument against Shuck too is Rattler started like 8 games, right? So like it's hard. I mean, but to me, like with Neighbors and Dart going out, or Neighbors and Dart, sorry, Neighbors and what's the running back? Why am I Scatteraboo, Cam. I'm like, Jesus. With them both being out for the year and him still doing what he did, that's really impressive to me. I don't know. I get like Dart had the injuries and stuff, but he was out there winning games to their detriment. Like they obviously didn't want to win those games in the year, but he was balling out regardless. So I don't know. It's just
the thing is, I'm already biased in this, so I'm gonna say McMillan. So.
Yeah, I think nobody would be mad about Tet winning it, right? Like it would be nice to see a non-quarterback finally win one of these awards, and I'm totally cool with Tet winning it because I think Jaden and Stroud won the last 2. So I'm totally fine with McMillan when he had over 1,000 yards. That team made the playoffs in a weak-ass division, thankful to Gene because he became a Bucs fan. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm fine with him winning it by all means. And I know, Abby, I'm sure you'd be more than happy with he wins it. And Guy, I don't think you'd be mad if he won it, right? Like none of us are invested in any of the offensive rookie of the years.
Right. Agreed. All right. On the flip side, defensive rookie of the year. Abdul Carter, James Pierce Jr., Carson Schlesinger, Xavier Watts, and Nick Amenwari.
Amenwari should absolutely win it, personally. That guy is elite. I'm not even a Seahawks fan. You know what I'm saying? That guy's awesome. He deserves the award. I'm sorry. Like all jokes aside, he's so fucking good.
No bias at all.
No bias at all. I'm a Bucs fan. But Schlesinger's certainly going to win the award. I don't even think there's a question that he wins it. But I wouldn't be mad if James Pierce won it either, because he had a ton of sacks. But in all honesty, if it wasn't going to go to Schlesinger, Amenwari genuinely should win it just for what he does in that backfield, specifically as a rookie. He literally plays what McDonald wants. He wants that Kyle Hamilton role. He doesn't miss tackles at all. He's a great coverage player. Like he can cover anybody on the field, and he hits like a truck. He didn't play at the beginning of the season, so I think that's going to hurt him. And Schlesinger played in a horrible in the Browns defense with a horrible offense, so they were on the field all the time, so he racked up the stats. But yeah, if you know ball, Amenwari should win this award. If you know ball, that's all I'm saying.
Guy.
Yeah, I got to go with James Pierce. I think rookie having like 10.5 sacks is a pretty impressive. Not to say that any of the other guys aren't deserving of winning the award, but I just think that if they had a little bit better quarterback play, he might have had more of an impact on that team. I don't know if the voters take into account how good the team does. Like that.
I don't care about that
because like with the rookies of the year, I think it mattered, like for the offensive rookie of the years, like with Stroud and Jaden Williams, right? Like their teams were good, and that influenced like the voters, I think, a little bit. For the defense, I'm not sure if they do that as well, but I just think I'm partial to pass rushers in this award. I think if you're able to get sacks, that's a tangible stat that I think the voters really like.
And to have two players from the Falcons in here definitely speaks a lot. Obviously, Jeff Albrecht, the defensive coordinator over there, doing a good job. He did a great job with the Jets, obviously not as interim head coach, but as defensive coordinator. So happy for him. I think it's just going to go the favorite as Wessinger racking up the numbers with, I think, most tackles out of all the rookies this year. So, all right. Defensive player of the year. Will Anderson Jr., Nick Bonito, Myles Garrett, Aiden Hutchinson, and Micah Parsons are the finalists. Guy, I'm going to start with you on this one. Your pick.
There's a lot of deserving candidates here, but I think just based off of the year, you got to give it to Myles Garrett. He broke the record. You want to argue there was in one more game than Strahan, whatever. But the fact is that he did it, and he did it on a team that was terrible. He was the only thing that really gave the Browns hope, honestly, and that defense. He's the anchor of that defense. He's the identity of that defense. And really, he's the one that puts asses in the seats there because, you could say Shedeur Sanders, but come on. That's not the reason why they're hopeful. They want to win low-scoring, close games because they have to. They have no other choice. And I think he embodies what it is, like that Cleveland tough defensive identity, and he deserves the award. I think he's the biggest game changer. But I do want to send a shout out to Will Anderson and Nick Bonito too, man, because those guys are right there with him.
The Bonito got an extension this year, didn't he? Or is it last year? Yeah.
Last year.
Sean, before I pass it to you, I think this by far goes to Myles Garrett. And Guy, we talked about this a little before Sean hopped on, just with the hiring of, why am I blanking on his name? We just talked about it. It's been a long day. Who did they hire? Yes, there we go. And we talked about Jim Schwartz and his maybe potential future with the Browns now because of that hire. And we talked about just the defense being the bright spot for the Cleveland Browns and their fans. And again, I'm glad you spoke to Myles Garrett being part of that identity. And I mean, I'm not that it matters, but he seems like a good guy off the field too. I think I talked about it before. He's like a monster on the field, but seems like so soft off the field. I love that kind of balance there, but obviously, yeah, breaking the record there. So that's who I'm going with. Sean?
Yeah, it's obviously going to be Myles Garrett. But I do think Will Anderson is the best defensive player in the NFL currently. I truly believe that. But Myles Garrett, with the season he had, you're not giving it to anyone else no matter what, unless someone had like 25 picks.
Yeah.
Right.
No way.
All right, moving on. Sorry, hold on. I'm pulling it up here. All right, we'll do comeback player of the year. All right. Finalists: Stephon Diggs, Aiden Hutchinson, Trevor Lawrence, Christian McCaffrey, and Dak Prescott. Sean, I'll start with you first.
I mean, I think obviously it's going to go to McCaffrey, and you can't really give it to anyone else. And the only other person that there's not an argument for that the name isn't on that list, to me, is Chris Olave. I think Chris Olave would be very deserving of that award as well. But McCaffrey almost had 1,000 year, and he was basically one of the only reasons that San Fran team's offense was not anemic. So to me, it's a clear-cut, straight answer is McCaffrey.
I'm with you there. I don't have any notes, Guy.
Yeah, no, he's far and away the reason why the 49ers did what they did. Like, without that Swiss Army knife, they don't even sniff the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. He literally dragged them to the playoffs.
I will say if the Lions made the playoffs, I'd give it to Aiden Hutchinson because he had like 15 sacks and he absorbed a lot, but they didn't make the playoffs. And I think that means a lot. But yeah.
All right, let's see if we go 3 for 3 again with the Offensive Player of the Year finalists.
We're not, because I know what Guy's going to say here.
Drake May, CMC nominated again. Puka, Bijan, and good old Jackson Smith and Jigba, JSN. Guy,
I would
I'm
let
gonna
Guy
start
go
with
first. Yeah, Guy, you go first. I know what your ass is gonna say, but I want to see if you're gonna say it.
No, a lot of these guys are deserving. I actually think to me now there's no right or wrong answer here. I actually am leaning toward Bijan Robinson.
Interesting.
I think with the lack of quarterback play and the still what he meant to that offense, they technically tied for the division lead, but through tiebreaker they missed the playoffs. But and they were competitive in a lot of games despite having really poor quarterback play. And I think he's been far and away probably the best running back this year. If you take into account health and just importance, and Christian McCaffrey's right there with him, not discounting him, but I just think, who do I want to give the ball to at any given time? And I think it's Bijan Robinson, just because the skills that he possesses, the speed, the change of direction, the toughness, and I don't think they give him the ball enough in Atlanta, to be honest with you.
I love him. He's a Tucson kid, Tucson local. So, Sean?
That's not the answer. I thought Guy was going to say Puka to fuck with me. I'm not going to lie. And quite frankly, to me, like, Bijan's a good shout. And I think Bijan is the best offensive player in the league. But I think it's a two-man race between Puka and JSN. And obviously I got to give it to JSN. I think it's really, really close, and I wouldn't be mad if Puka won it, honestly. With the season that JSN just had, you can't deny that. His first season without Lockett and DK, and he just balls out. I don't know. I'm so thankful we drafted him. He's an absolute stud. Everything you hear about him, everything you see with him, he gets headbutted by the dude from San Fran, and he just walks away. That's the kind of guy that you want. That's who you want as your superstar. And I'm thankful, one, as a fan, and two, just as a fan of the game, to watch someone like him. In the plays he made in the Rams game, the one-handed catch on the sideline, the route that he ran to get wide open for the touchdown. That's my guy right there. That's my franchise player, and I'm going to give him Offensive Player of the Year.
Well, I have a different nominee than both of you, and I'm going to say Drake May. I'm just playing. I'm playing.
Like, if you're going to give it to Drake May, you might as well give it to Matthew Stafford.
No. I am going to go with JSN here. I think I've had a video. I had to take it down because it was like not playing right. And then don't ask me what happened with TikTok this weekend. It was a goddamn mess. Nothing was showing, but
because I heard they changed it, right?
Yes, that is why, because they were bought out by a U.S. company, I believe, no longer owned by China, and it already
so their workers aren't working for 5 cents an hour anymore, so now they actually have to pay the wages.
Child labor over here. But all I had basically said was that I'm going to go with the the wide receiver who carried my fantasy team all year in JSN. He's just had an incredible season. All right, moving on. Do we want to do MVP or we want to start with coaches first?
We should probably do coach and then MVP.
That's what I figured. All right. Coach of the Year finalists: Liam Cohen, Ben Johnson, Mike McDonald, Kyle Shanahan, and Mike Vrabel. Lots of Mikes.
I'm going to preface this with you can't go wrong with whoever wins it this year.
Right.
And I truly believe that you can't go wrong with whoever wins it. This is probably the best 5 coaches in the NFL and the best 5 coaches that I've seen in a long time from top to bottom.
Mm-hmm. Guy, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. And I echo that sentiment. I think you can't go wrong here. I want to go with somebody that's probably made the biggest impact, and my pick is Ben Johnson. Just because of the culture change, the belief that he put in Caleb Williams, you could see the growth. You could see that they're building something special there in Chicago. And year one, almost transformed that team into, a Final Four, team. So like from where they've been to where they are now, and Ben Johnson, his impact is still felt in Detroit. So like that goes to show that great assistants or coordinators are hard to come by, but when they get their chance and they have a good situation, and it wasn't the worst situation, but it wasn't the best situation, but he did make the best of what he had. And I think they still have room to grow. And I just like the change that the Bears have. People believe in Chicago now, where earlier this year, or maybe, definitely not last year, they were last place, and we kind of figured that that's where they deserve to be.
Now, Sean, I'm going to pass it to you. I'm going to share mine first. But Guy, who is a close second for you?
Honestly, it might be outside the box, but I'm going to say Kyle Shanahan, just because he had to really coach this year, with all the injuries and all the things that they had to overcome, and no matter who they put at quarterback, there was no real drop off in production. And that culture there in San Francisco, even though they got beat pretty bad by Seattle, they were still, they shouldn't even have been there to begin with, and it's a testament to their toughness and to their mettle, which they get from the coach. I believe his identity is all over this team, and that's my close second.
The only reason I'm going to go second, Sean, is because I have the same pick as Guy and Ben Johnson. And Guy, I want to echo just everything that you said. You really feel the shift there in Chicago, and to bring him back to the playoffs and whatnot, it's just he's really turned it around. And I don't think anyone saw Chicago being as good as they were. I think probably we saw them being out, maybe potentially the first round of the playoffs as well. But a close second for me, I will say, is probably Liam Cohen. I'm not going to go too much into detail because all of these candidates really speak for themselves. But again, all of them so deserving. Sean, I think I know. We talked about it a little in the chat, so I think you probably have two different answers: who it's going to go to and who you want. You mentioned one name to us in the chat earlier this weekend, but let the people know.
Well, I have three answers. I think Vrabel's going to win it. I personally think Shanahan deserves it most. The same sentiment that Guy echoed, I echo. And that's coming from a divisional rival. And we have the toughest division in the NFL. So to be that good. And honestly, obviously I'm going to say, Mike McDonald. But the reality of it is if McDonald won it, he really should win it, just because we were projected 7 wins this year, and we're going to the Super Bowl. And we easily, and I know you could take it however you want, we easily could be undefeated. We lost to the Niners by 3, we lost to the Bucks by 3, and then we lost to the Rams by 1 with 4 turnovers from Darnold. The Seattle team from top to bottom is insane. McDonald is a defensive wizard. I mean, what that guy does with defenses is insane. And that offense, anyone can say whatever they want. Nobody would project that Seattle offense to be like the 4th best offense in the NFL if you just looked at the names on paper. Obviously Darnold was an obvious upgrade from Geno Smith. We all kind of knew what JSN was. And then you have a 2-headed monster with Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker. What he's done with this team, he was a 10-win coach last year. He turned into a now 16-win coach this year, but 14-win coach in the regular season, and going to the Super Bowl in his second year as an NFL head coach should say more than enough about what he's done to that Seattle team. I can't give the guy enough credit, and I could sit here and stroke him off for an hour, right? But I'm not going to. The guy's awesome. I really do hope he wins it, not because I'm a Seattle fan, but because of what he's done with the organization. Everyone called us the worst team in the NFC West. We're not going to be good this year. And we not only were the best team in that division, we were the 1 seed in the NFL in a division that had 3 playoff teams. And guess who we had to beat? was the two other best teams in the NFC and considered in the NFL in the Niners and the Rams to make it to the Super Bowl. We didn't have a cakewalk into the Super Bowl. We had to beat legit teams and divisional teams. Our last 4 out of our last 5 games was against the Rams and the 49ers. So, shout out to everyone in that division. McVay, Cardinals don't count.
I was like, you don't want to shout out Gannon?
Yeah, shout out Gannon for getting fired. And honestly,
he's already employed though.
I know. But yeah, not to make it long-winded, but Vrabel's probably going to win it. Shanahan should win it. And my real answer that I hope is McDonald, just because of what he's done with that team. And I think the same way that you guys talk about what Ben Johnson did to the Bears, I think McDonald's effect on Seattle kind of gets downplayed a little bit because people just see that Seattle team and they're like, holy shit, they're good. But this was not the narrative in the preseason about us. This was not what people were saying. We are an elite team, and I think we've proved that. And we weren't expected to be anywhere near this year. We were expected to digress from last year when we had 10 wins, and we improved upon that, and we made it all the way to the Super Bowl.
I didn't know you guys were projected to win only 7 games.
Mm-hmm. Over-under was 7.5.
And maybe it's because, so I follow this other Seattle content creator, and and she had hyped up the Seattle defense prior to the season. So I'm like, they're going to be good. And I remember I told my boyfriend, I was like, you're going to get swept by Seattle. I guarantee it. And I was saying, Sammy Lammy's going to sweep you. And that's exactly what happened. And it was because of her. I think her name's Diarra or whatever, but she was talking about them prior to the season. That's the only reason I knew that Seattle was going to be good and what they were building there. So it's crazy to me to see how good they are now and how they were preseason, because I didn't know that. And
everyone that's a Seattle fan, we were excited this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the over-under was set. You know how much money I know people won because I told them to take the over on 7.5? I know people that put in on 10 grand down on it. Because I'm like, that's got to be one of the free. To me, I didn't see it. I'm like, we upgraded at quarterback. We upgraded on defense. We got our diva out of here. We have a true number 1 wide receiver. We have a dual-headed monster at running back. If one of them gets hurt, the other one can easily carry. Both of them are RB1s on probably 25 of the NFL teams. That's not fair. Probably 22. And we have tight end galore that are usable in every aspect. So we can run 2 tight end sets and stuff. I don't know. It just felt very weird to me that but also everyone was high on the Cardinals to start the season too. So I think that affects projections a little bit.
I was.
Yeah. But I mean, for us to be projected to have 7.5 and we finished with 14, now we're in the Super Bowl with 16 and a first round bye. I mean, I think that goes under the radar a lot. And again, I understand what everyone's saying about Ben Johnson, but we kind of had the same expectations as the Bears. So it's hard for me to I think Ben Johnson deserves to be in there, but I don't think I know what you guys are saying. I just don't think he's in that top 3 combo, if I'm being honest.
That's okay. All right. Assistant Coach of the Year finalists. We got 2 more to go through. Vic Fangio, Brian Flores, Vance Joseph, Clint Kubiak, and Josh McDaniels. We got 3 DCs and 2 OCs in there. Sean, I'll give it to you first.
I mean, Kubiak.
Do you have 3? Do you have 5? You're like,
I don't. I don't.
One statistically.
No, I don't. I honestly forgot about this award. To be completely honest with you, I'm just gonna say Kubiak because we've had one of the top offenses in the league on the most winning team, right? And anyone can say whatever they want about Sam Darnold. Everybody shit on him all year. They're still shitting on him going to the Super Bowl. And we have one of the best run games in the league, one of the best passing games in the league. We average almost 30 points a game. And Kubiak was the number 1 prospect for every team, right? He was number 1 on a lot of these teams' boards. He might actually end up staying with us because all the jobs have kind of filled because we made it so far. Everyone was expecting us to be out early, and Kubiak would interview. The only things left are the Cardinals, who I highly doubt he's going to go to the Cardinals because you have to find a franchise quarterback, and that team is just not very good. And
Raiders.
I guess in theory, he could still go to the Raiders, but I was talking to someone and then reading a little bit about it. And it feels like while Mendoza's the number 1 pick in this draft, they haven't filled their vacancy because a lot of people aren't high on him being that franchise quarterback. Yeah, they have Genty. Yeah, they have Bowers. They have no offensive line. They really have no defense outside of Max Crosby, who they probably trade. So while I understand like you have some elite offensive talents, like your coach has to be like, your new head coach has to be like, okay, I'm cool with Mendoza being my franchise quarterback, because you don't want someone going in there that's not high on him and then they're not into whatever they're drafting, right? And now you're like, oh, no, I'm the head coach and I have to deal with this quarterback because we drafted him at 1 overall. So I didn't realize that that's why a lot of like their head coach vacancy isn't filled yet, is because there's a lot of like uncertainty behind that whole team. So, yeah.
Guy?
Yeah, no, I think it's Clint Kubiak too. I mean, that going into this season, I know Sean touched on it. If anything was a question mark, it was like the quarterback and like the how they would score. And I thought that one of the more impressive parts of Seattle this year was the improvement on offense that they made, namely, Sam Darnold taking care of the ball and, coming into his own. And I know that Kubiak plays a big part of that, and I just don't think the other guys had the same impact on their teams as Kubiak had on the Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
Is Vance Joseph on that list, by the way?
Yeah, and that's
he's a good shout too. He's a good shout.
Well, that's who I was gonna go with. He is the favorite at this point too. Obviously, we don't need to talk about the Broncos defense and just how great they are. But that was my pick. Kubiak was second there though. So and it's funny.
Vance Joseph's a great shout.
Right,
awesome.
right.
Their team is awesome.
All right, and then last but not least, most valuable player, MVP finalists: Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, Drake May, Christian McCaffrey, and Matthew Stafford. All QBs except for CMC there. So, Guy, let's start with you first.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Matt Stafford. I think throughout the year he showed that he was the best quarterback in the league. What he did to even get to the NFC Championship game, like winning in Chicago the way he did, and just utilizing his weapons the way that he does. He's still a very smart quarterback. He doesn't turn the ball over that much. He's one of the best leaders in football as well. Like, when he takes the field, like you always have a chance to win. And he starting in Detroit and going through that grinder that he had to go through, just to get to this point where he's, battling for Super Bowls and NFC championships, just shows, who he is as a quarterback. His touchdown to interception ratio is very impressive. And, I know he's up there in age, but to me, he played the cleanest quarterback all year. And I'm going as a body of work, not just recency bias, but I think from week 1 to week 17, week 18, he was, the best quarterback or most valuable to his franchise.
Sean.
Yeah, I think it's Matt Stafford, and I don't even think it's close. Obviously, there is a huge debate on who it should go to. All I'm gonna say is if you gave the Rams the Patriots schedule this year, Matt Stafford have like 65 passing touchdowns. And I think that's 100%. And I think that's like a big thing that people aren't like adding to the argument. Like the whole argument about Drake, the whole argument why Drake May should win the MVP is because he has the most yards per throw, like most air yards, and the highest completion percentage in the NFL. That was the whole basis of his argument was, oh, no one's ever done that. So like he's elite. And it's like, can we go just take a look at their schedule? Like what elite defense did they play? I'm not understanding who they play. Like, we've seen the last 3 games in the playoffs. He's looked like a joke. I mean, and I understand like his stats look great because he doesn't have a lot of like good receivers, but they have 2 really good running backs. And honestly, he still even has worse stats than Stafford, regardless. And Stafford plays in the NFC West, so he's got to play Seattle. He's got to play the Niners 4 times, and then you get blessed to play the Cardinals twice. But the schedule isn't even close, like between the 2 teams. And that alone says enough for me when they basically have the same record. I think the Patriots have 2 more wins, but the quality of teams is not even close. Because also didn't the Rams also had to play like Jacksonville and Houston this year too? I think so. They have a
Philadelphia,
Philly. So yeah, I don't even understand how it's an argument because from a stats point of view, it's not even close, and then from a schedule point of view, it's really not anywhere in the same hemisphere or stratosphere. I can understand why you want to argue Drake May, and I get it. He's a second-year player, you know, their record, say whatever you want. I guarantee you put the Rams in that division and give them that schedule. They're undefeated and they're in the Super Bowl right now, and it's not even a question. They put up 40 points on everybody in the playoffs all the way through the AFC. I guarantee that.
Yeah, we're going 3 for 3 because I'm going Matt Stafford. You both absolutely said the points I was going to go ahead and bring up. That strength of schedule is like a huge one, Sean. So I'm glad you pointed that out. I mean, you got to play the Jets twice. Whoa, what a scary Miami twice.
You play the Bills twice, who weren't even that great this year.
Right,
like they were decent, and you split with them, and you were up 21 going into half or 18 going into half, and you lose that game. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know. I understand the appeal of like wanting to be like, oh yeah, it's cool to see like Drake May win it, but like he's not even in the same realm to me as Stafford in any aspect at all. I'm sorry. And Stafford's also 37. That's the thing. Stafford's 37. Drake May is what, 24, 25? Mm-hmm. They're not even close in age either, and Stafford's putting up significantly better numbers. I mean, this is like trying to argue like Drew Brees and Michael Vick at the end of his career. Like it really doesn't. It's not even close to me.
I feel like you made me feel validated, Sean, because I feel like, again, all the Patriots fans have like come for me the last 2 days, and I'm just like, oh my God, you guys can't take any criticism, I swear. They are so shoved up Drake May's, like, for lack of a better word, ass. And I'm like, he doesn't do anything that spectacular to me. He doesn't.
To your point, he might be he is going to be one of the worst quarterbacks to make it to the Super Bowl of all time.
Mm-hmm. He's not bad. I'm not going to say he's a bad quarterback, but like he's not God. And it seems to be like everybody thinks that like he's like the second coming of Tom Brady. And I'm like, are we watching the same team and the same guy? Did we not watch the last 3 games in the playoffs? In what world did he wow anybody in the last 3 games of the playoffs? I didn't see – the only cool play that I saw them do was that bogus-ass throw that Kayshon Boutte went up and snagged and mossed the receiver. He's not giving you highlight reel passes. He had most of his yards running in the Denver game, and it's in the fucking snow. Like, you can't even see the guy. You know, he looks like fucking Frosty the Snowman running down the field. That's who you think you're running after. I haven't seen anything in the playoffs that indicate to me that he's going to be elite, special, and everyone can argue and say whatever they want about the defenses. They're banged up. And I guarantee you when they got one of the hardest schedules in the NFL next year, they're not going to be 14-3. I'll bet my ass on that. Mm-hmm. Give me an over under 14. I'm slamming under, and I'm putting my whole savings account and the mortgage on my house on it. I promise you that. It's not going to happen. It's really not.
God, that is hilarious. I know we've talked a lot, majority of this episode, about NFL, but there's one more thing I want to get into. It should go by quick. Dable is obviously headed to the Titans, joining Robert Saleh as the offensive coordinator over there in Tennessee. And any thoughts from either of you?
I think that's going to be a good team next year. I don't know why. Well, I hope Saleh has a better second attempt as a head coach than his first attempt.
His first attempt was great. What are you talking about?
Is my mic on? Jesus, no. Yeah, I pray. I mean, here's the thing. We can give Shanahan all the credit in the world, but Saleh was also that defensive coordinator over there that was a great defensive unit considering all the injuries and everything that they had all year. And I think Dable is more suited to not be a head coach, and he'll be doing better in a coordinator role. He was an elite coordinator before he became a head coach. That's the whole reason he became a head coach. And that team's young. They got a high draft pick this year. If they can just sign a couple free agents and build that defense a little bit more, we saw some flashes from Cam at the end of the year. Maybe sign like a veteran wide receiver because that receiving room is really young. I'm excited to see what they do with that. I don't think they're going to be a playoff team year one, but I definitely think that they can be in the hunt for playoffs.
Guy?
Yeah. And to your point, like Saleh was part of that identity, at least defensively for the 49ers. The swagger that they had on defense and the toughness, it definitely showed. And even before, when he was the coordinator, before he took the Jets job, he had that team, as one of the best defensive units in football. Him having coaching experience already, head coaching experience gives him an advantage, and him having a nice balance with Daboll as his offensive coordinator means that he could just focus on defense and, managing the game and let Daboll work with Cam Ward and, the play calling. I think that's a good, mix, even though they're both former New York coaches reuniting here.
Right, and that's what I think is funny amidst all of this. But I do think this is a good hire for them. It gives Saleh an opportunity to obviously be his head coach, but kind of keep his hands in the defense a little, because I felt like he was stretched a little over with the Jets, of course, his first time there. But you're right, Guy. He had the New York Jets defense playing at an elite level when he was there. So, again, you have that veteran presence with Daboll there. I think it allows him to kind of shift a little bit more towards the defense, but obviously still performing the head coaching duties. So it should be a nice balance for Tennessee. So hopefully a bright future for them. Correct me if I'm wrong. It didn't seem like there was a lot of MLB news.
Did y'all talk about the Belichick stuff or no?
Yeah, we did. We can hear your thoughts though.
I just think that is fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That is insane to me. And then the voters are coming out and saying, we did it because of Spygate. I said, get the fuck out of here. You want to punish a grown man for something that happened years ago? Even if you take the Spygate out, he's a first round Hall of Famer candidate, regardless. He should have been first ballot no matter what. I mean, if 8 Super Bowls in 20 years and your average draft pick is in the fucking 29 to 30 range, and you're not in the first, who's the first ballot Hall of Famer then? Nobody. It is absurd to me. I know you both have like teams in that division, but it seems like that's like the one thing that all fans are agreeing on is this is fucking nuts.
No, and I agree. I think me and Guy both thought it was just like funny. The only thing is too, I wonder if his personal life had a little bit of a factor in this too, because
he's a coach.
I know that people are coming out now saying that, I forgot who stated that they didn't even remember if they voted for him or not. And I'm like, this is just, I think that those speak for themselves. So
those need to be made public, just like the MLB ones. They need to make them public for who voted and who voted yes and no. And we need to go harass the people that voted no. Harass them, I tell you.
Or revoke their voting status.
Yeah, we need to revoke their presidential voting status, their Hall of Fame voting status, their ability to drive, because they clearly aren't competent enough to exist, and fire them from their jobs. We need all 4 of those gone. Fucking absurd. That was going to be my rant, by the way, is that these Hall of Fame, the voters, what gives them the right to vote? They're nobodies in the sport. I don't know.
They get a power trip too, because like now they feel like they have some type of say or or control.
Yeah.
And like they kind of punish the guy, like if he's a prick or if like he wasn't a media darling, you know, like they take it out on you. Anything that you do, you know, like I get it. Like if you just look at the on the field stuff, he's supposed to be in the Hall of Fame first ballot. That's not a question. But I know that the voters always put their personal shit in there, and it's like, oh,
That's
well,
not
I
their
didn't like him
job,
as a
though.
person.
That's not
Oh,
their job.
yeah, I know. But that's the human element of all these Hall of Fame voters that, you know, we've seen it in baseball so many times too, where you get unfairly punished for whatever. And like, yeah, you're gonna have to wait a couple years because you know, we need to make you feel the punishment of your early sins and off the field stuff most of the time.
But to me, like what this says is, and this is my opinion, if he isn't a first ballot, nobody should be a first ballot. So nobody ever after this should be a first ballot Hall of Famer again by achievements, if that's what you're going to set your baseline is. That is absurd to me. I don't care what you think about him, his girlfriend, his, you know, Spygate, Deflategate, any of it. If you removed all of that in all of those years that happened, he'd still be a first ballot. So no one should ever be a first ballot Hall of Famer again, and everybody should have to wait at least a year.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the case.
Right. And Guy, you pointed it out, whether we like it or not, it's that personal factor that gets somehow jaded in there. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's fair, but it just happens.
They need to be audited like jury duty then. If you want to vote, why? Tell me your favorite football team. Tell me who you hate and why you hate them. It is crazy to me.
Even I objectively could go into that situation and instantly make the right decision there. You know,
I don't care if you are a lifetime hater of the Patriots and Bill Belichick, you should objectively be able to make that call regardless. Mm-hmm. You don't have to like the guy to respect him. And I always say that. Like, I don't like LeBron James, but I respect him. I don't think he's the GOAT, but I respect him as a player. You know, that's my opinion. Would I ever say LeBron James shouldn't be a first ballot Hall of Famer because I think he's a fucking moron? No. He's always going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, right? Just because you don't like MJ because of his gambling shit, he's always going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like, you can't just take shit that you don't like and not vote someone in. And I'm not saying this for y'all. I'm just saying, like, as a whole, the entire voting system should be criticized and re-looked at because this is absurd.
Well, Guy, before we get into a rant, the only thing I saw from MLB this week is obviously Harrison Bader heading over to the Giants on a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
It's kind of quiet this week. I think I was just like, okay.
Yeah, they just needed a guy to fill the roster, really. I mean, he's going to be all right, but good defense, maybe something from the right-handed side of the play, but it doesn't make them a contender, you know. He'll be traded by the trade deadline, I think.
Yeah. Oh, I guess we didn't even talk about the news that Giannis is now potentially looking for a new home.
Not potentially. He will have a new home. Almost certainly.
He said it's time.
I think we saw this coming a little bit.
I seen some of the trade packages for him, and I'm like, for a 32-year-old Giannis, these are fucking nuts. Like the Heat, it's like Hero, the rookie from Illinois. I can't ever pronounce his last name. There's 2 other like starters and then 4 first-round picks. And I'm like,
that's nuts.
I'm sorry, it's 2 in the regular season. If they wait till the offseason, they can trade 4. That's what it was. I'm like, in what world are you mortgaging your entire, like, you're not even a championship contender with Giannis at this point. I'm sorry. Like, you're just not. You're trading away all of your valuable pieces in depth. You're going to be rolling out Bam Adebayo, Norman Powell, and Giannis. That's not beating any good teams in the playoffs. I'm sorry. It's not. You don't have a point guard at that. Oh, Jaime Jaquez was included in it too. I'm like, so you're giving up both of your starting point guards, or you're starting your backup. I like the Warriors package, even though it's never going to happen. But it was like Jimmy Butler because his expiring contract, Kuminga and like three first-round picks or 4 first-round picks or something, I'm like, that's realistic. And I think that team could win a title, if that's all you're giving up, because you already lost Butler for the year anyways. But it's going to be really – they're talking about the Knicks. Knicks are not getting him. If you're a Knicks fan and you're listening to this, I'm sorry. They have no avenue to acquire Giannis at all. And then there was one other team. It was the Heat, the Knicks, the Warriors, and one other team. I don't remember who it was.
Was Orlando in there?
The Timberwolves. It's the
Timberwolves. Yep.
Who also, I think they'd have to – and they said they're willing to trade Jaden McDaniels for Giannis, and that's the only way they trade him. But, I don't think that they're deep enough. And if you're running Rudy and Giannis on the floor at the same time, you have no fucking spacing at all. And, Ant can do whatever he wants and be elite all he wants. If you don't have to worry about anything inside of 18 feet, you're not doing anything in the postseason. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. Well, more to come on that, obviously. Guy, do you have a rant today? Sean, you got out yours, right?
Yeah, the Hall of Fame. Yeah, that was going to be mine anyway, so I just preemptively did it. It's just horse shit.
Perfect timing. Guy?
No, I just it's not really a rant, but it's more of like a reality check, and I know we've echoed this many times. I think the Patriots fans need to stop being delusional. You are going to be hit with a big reality check in about a week and a half. Seattle's going to, it's going to be destruction, and I'm here for it. I got my popcorn ready. I got my beverages ready, and, to think that you have a chance in this game is laughable. It's not going to be a pretty product, from a neutral standpoint for the ones that want like a competitive game. It is going to be lopsided. This is like the 85 Bears versus the Patriots kind of.
And everybody said too, the NFC Championship, that was the Super Bowl.
That was the Super Bowl. It was. Come on, the two best teams played each other this past Sunday, and the Seattle won. And look, anything can happen, whatever. But if we're using logic, we're seeing the eye test. And to your point, when we were talking about Drake May and how he compares to the other MVP candidates, he doesn't pass the eye test for me. The thing that we're supposed to rely on. But not just the stats, but what do you see week in and week out? Yeah, you played bad teams most of the year. Now when you played good defenses, you turned the ball over like it was your hobby, bro. So now I expect turnovers. I expect that defense to really give him problems. And like you were saying, Abs, everybody's saying that we're haters, but this is just truth telling. This is reality slapping you in the face. And I will say in advance, thank you, Seattle, for the beatdown you're about to give them.
I know, and I say it louder for the people in the back because I can't wait for that Sam Darnold revenge. And I'm sure you guys all saw that meme when it was like Bad Bunny pulling off the stage at halftime. It's like 37-6 Seattle.
Well, also, fun fact, this is still part of Sam Darnold's revenge tour. He's 0-4 against the Patriots in his career.
Oh.
1 touchdown and 9 interceptions. He's still, just like the Rams were his demon and he's overcame them the last 2 times they played. The Patriots are still on that boat as well. So this is going to be awesome to watch him just, I can't say it on stream, but yeah, he's going to give a little mollywhopping is what he's going to do. And I assume both of you guys are on Seattle, right?
Yeah. We hope it's a blowout.
Yeah. I'm hoping
it's like 41-3.
I'm hoping it's like that Niners-Ravens Super Bowl where the Ravens were just beating the shit out of them and then the lights get shut off in the second quarter, just like it happened in that game, just so they can let the Patriots get back to it a little bit. Because, man, I'm telling you, if Drake May turns the ball over 3 to 5 times like he's done the last 3 games,
it's a wrap.
I can guarantee you that Seattle's going to convert that into at least 14 points. Yeah. And they should have lost to the Texans in the second round, and they got lucky to get out of that because I think all 3 of us had the Texans or the Broncos in the Super Bowl, not the Patriots. And they really should have been. If Denver didn't lose Bo Nix is running all over them in the snow game. I don't give a shit what anybody says. And if CJ Stroud didn't turn into a fucking pumpkin at midnight, they should have, they had 4 turnovers and they turned that into 7 points. You can't have that.
Yeah, I hope it's over by the half so I can just watch the halftime show in peace.
God, I hope it's over by the first. I hope this is like the Niners game where it's over after the first kickoff.
As
a matter of fact, I hope we kick it off to them and then we lay the returner out and we return that.
I'll tell you right now, I've had a video queued up for when they lose, and I've been waiting to fucking share
We're talking all this shit, and the Patriots are going to come out and win like 45-3.
I know.
Imagine.
We're cutting the podcast. We're done. We're done podcasting.
If they win, I follow this one Patriots content creator. He's great. It's funny because sometimes I'll comment on his stuff, and all his fans come for me, and he's like, "Bro, chill. She's my friend." Like, it's like I'm not even saying anything crazy. He'll tag me and stuff, and I'm just responding. Don't bring me here if you don't want me here. But if they win, I will not hear the end of it from him. I absolutely will not. And
if they win, you have to block him on social media.
I know, literally.
You were friends. You're not friends anymore.
But he's great. Otherwise, I support his content in general. He's just built a huge following. So, well, I'll leave you guys with this. My Arizona Wildcats are 21-0, off to the best start since 2013. And let me tell you, I have a feeling Arizona's just going to go ahead and keep running the fucking table. And if they beat Arizona State on Saturday, it will be their best start in program history at 22-0. I have no doubts that they will take care of business up in McHale North. They're obviously here in Tempe. But I do want to talk about the BYU game just a little, because the way we got hosed at the end by the refs is absolutely ridiculous. Tony Padilla is one of the referees. He made a call last year. That's why we lost to BYU. So all Arizona fans hate him. He made another call again from half court. You can't even see. So why are you making that call? So, and someone, I posted the comment, but someone said, send Tony Padilla to the sun. But the last 2 minutes of that game, Vegas must have made a call and was like, yo, this spread is 1.5. Y'all got to start doing stuff. Because that last 9 minutes, I don't know what happened to us.
Weren't y'all up like 12 points or
yes,
something?
I don't know.
And then I looked at the score the next day because I already assumed y'all won, and I saw it was only by 2, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then I went and looked at the highlights, and I'm like, oh, that makes way more sense. Yeah,
by 3. My heart was racing by the end of the game. The last 2 minutes were probably the most stressful of my life, because what happened was we just got called for every foul. And what's funny is like Jaden Bradley got fouled. Literally, he fell on the ground. No foul on that. But then he gets called for an offensive foul, I think on like an inbound pass. And then, it came down to 10 seconds left. We were only up by 1. And I was like, all right, what are we going to do? And Braden Burries, my God, comes through with a crucial block. And I do want to point out the block was important, but was even more important was him to go down the court and shoot those 2 free throws in probably the toughest position to at least put us up by 3 points. Was just absolutely incredible. This Arizona basketball team, I'm trying not to get so excited, but my God, it is so hard. They are so good on both sides of the ball. I am going to have a preview video tomorrow, just a heads up about the matchup we have coming up with Arizona State. We obviously won the first matchup. Close, I might add. Too close for comfort. But I think we should take care of business. But I'll tell you right now, starting February, Arizona is going to have one of the toughest stretches. They got Kansas. You got BYU again. You got Houston. And you got Texas Tech in basically a 2-week stretch. So, just what an incredible win, though. That BYU environment was just, I mean, it was nuts. And they were so loud on top of that too. But I can't say enough good things about this team. And I'm waiting. This is one of the best squads. I go on and on. One of the best squads that Tommy Lloyd has put together. Again, just a good mix of rookies and veterans. But I do also want to shout out the backcourt. Again, I mentioned Braden Burries. But Bradley, Jaden Bradley, just so underrated coming into the season. He's just been absolutely solid. Those two had a masterpiece of a game against BYU. So you guys know. You'll hear from me on if we went on Saturday. That's 22-0. That's exactly what I'm going to send you guys. Bunch of exclamation points. But they are arguably the best team in the country. There's no competition there, and that's why I keep using that word unanimously. Yes,
they are the best team.
Unanimously the best team. I'm done with the Michigan fans and their bullshit. Stop it. And the Big 12, stacked. It's going to be.
Didn't Michigan just had to come back and win against Nebraska too? Like they almost lost that game.
Yeah, and I do want to mention only two. Since Nebraska lost, only two undefeated teams so far.
Oh, yeah, Nebraska was undefeated. Oh, they're going to bump Michigan up to number 1 now for sure.
Oh, I know, literally. But I think it's Miami, Ohio, that's still undefeated. And then
Miami, Ohio is 21-0 or 20-0. Yeah, I saw that.
I'm telling you right now, the loss is coming. I'm a little surprised it wasn't against BYU. When we were up by 19 points, I was like, holy shit. Like, this is crazy.
Who do you think you lose to when you lose?
So we play Texas Tech at home. I think I wrote this down, damn it. I think Kansas is away. That's a tough arena. Holy hell.
You play Kansas twice, right? 1 home, 1 away.
Mm-hmm.
Your first game's at home.
Yeah, we play BYU again. That's at home, though. It's either going to come against Kansas, but it might be Houston.
Houston's the one I see here.
Yeah,
that's
I think
what I'm looking at. Because Texas Tech split with Houston, right? So that's also a toss-up because they beat them by 4, but also lost by like 3 to them. So the Kansas game that after Oklahoma State's also tough because you could just be kind of sleepwalking through the Oklahoma State.
I know. It seems like, you got to last 2 good couple easy. I don't want to say easy because nothing's easy, but a good couple games. But I don't like how Arizona has been so cold from the 3-point line.
That's
I know
good though. You want to be cold now and still winning, and then go into like your toughest stretch, and then you start bombing them in.
Del Orso, I'd be a little more comfortable with it if Del Orso comes out of this little funk that he is in. He's been good with defensively, I want to say, and drawing some fouls, but offensively, he's like our 3-point guy. He's one of them, and as long as he comes out of this
3% from 3.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. And is your 3-point specialist?
Yeah, he's one of them. Yeah.
Awaka, 70% from 3.
I know, but Awaka is a big guy that you expect to get in the paint, though.
Koa Pete also is horrible from 3.
Koa Pete has been, it's been a Braden Burry show. He's really come into his own, which has been exciting to see. I know Koa Pete's also like a freshman too, but Houston is scary because that one freshman had like 40-something points like 2 games ago. And Houston, they're just a well-coached team.
Kingston Flemings.
Mm-hmm. Big 12. This is a great, and let me say real quick, AJ DeBonza, you're not going to like this, Sean, but he's like SGA. He gets calls in his favor every single effing time. There was one time a foul on Burries. They called it from the 3-point line. He didn't even touch him. You didn't even touch him. And he gets a call every single time. Without those fouls, I'm not that impressed. Oh, we have Justin in here. I guess we can go back.
To the Eagles.
Well,
I thought he wasn't going.
Titans,
he chose the Titans, not to the Eagles.
But we all said it was a good choice there. Good move there, especially with Bob Asala as head coach. So it'll be an exciting weekend. I'm thrilled. It's the only thing I got when the Jets are just a horrible franchise right now. They're going the opposite direction.
Checks watch every year.
No, literally the last 3 days, I'm like, huh? And then I saw who they were interviewing for offensive coordinator, and we were all like, who is that? And then we're all just like, I guess we'll take this person.
You read the title, and that shit turns you into an hour.
Yeah, but looking how the defensive coordinator got hired, who they interviewed, and who's on that list right now is not who we're gonna hire. That's how it's gonna go. They're gonna do the exact opposite.
Yep. Certainly.
So it was a good show. We're glad that you were able to join us, Sean, and we were able to have a full show.
I ran home. I promise you, I ran home. You should have seen me running. I bought my fiance some drinks. I brought the drinks to the kitchen, slammed my power button. I was like, I want to get on it. I was talking on the phone at home. I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of sad. She's like, why don't you just hop on? I'm like, okay.
I know. So I think I have my tax appointment coming up in like 2 weeks. Yeah. So I give it to a guy though. I'm like, here you go, just do whatever. He asked me like 3 questions, and I'm like, yep, here you go. Yeah. Easy. All right. Well, another good episode. We will see you guys next week. Please like and subscribe to the channel and all the social media platforms. And again, we'll see you next Wednesday, 9:30 Eastern. Bye.